Hello NASCAR fans, Chris Terrell here with RotoPros.com, DailyFantasySportsRankings.com, and my own Patreon page, patreon.com/JagerBombs. Hope everyone's having a good Memorial Day weekend. We've got another NASCAR race today. Brad Keselowski took home the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte yesterday. Today we've got the Alsco 300 from the Xfinity Series. Qualifying was made by draw. I do have the sheet up, as you can see here. We're going to go over it, some of my favorite plays, as well as I came up with another sheet. It's a NASCAR Matrix is pretty much what it is. We're going to go over that here. First of all, I'll jump right in right now. So pretty much what I have here is a list of all the drivers in the race, their DraftKings salaries, and their starting position. And then we've got a matrix of all possible finishing positions for each and every driver, giving you what their point total would be in terms of place differential and finishing points. Laps led and fast laps are not factored into this at the moment. So as you can see, Kyle Busch starting 18th. If he finishes first, he would get 63 points just from place differential and his finishing points. And then down to a driver like Alex Labbe here, he would get 82 points if he was to win the race. He's starting 37th, so he's going to get a lot more place differential. This is a tool that can be used a lot when deciding between maybe drivers in the same zone. The first one that kind of stands out, going down a little bit into that mid-range, three drivers that I will have some exposure to today. You've got Jesse Little, Michael Annett, and Tommy Joe Martins. As you can see here by looking at this, Michael Annett starting 9th. Is going to have to get 9th to get where he's starting. If he finishes there, he's going to get 35 points, given that he doesn't lead any laps. For these other drivers, Little and Martins, who are in the same price range, for them to get 35 points because they're starting further back, as you can see, they're only going to need 20th to 22nd place finishes. So there's a little bit risk there. So for me, when looking at that data, I see Martins and Little with their place differential more as cash games, safer plays. They've got a safer floor. Versus Michael Annett, who's got upside for sure, probably going to be a little bit lower owned because he's in there. He has been better on the season, so his upside is also a little bit better. But as you can see, his upside, if he wins the race and doesn't lead any laps, is nowhere near what these other guys are, even though he's probably got a better chance at winning the race than those guys. But that's kind of how I look at that, comparing multiple drivers and what position they finish in. So you can kind of go ahead and say, okay, well, if Brett Moffitt finishes 7th, he's going to get 52 points versus Jeffrey Earnhardt. They're starting side by side, so that's kind of a bad comparison, but you get it there. And then what you can do, I've added this today, is projected fast laps, or projected laps led. So there's 200 laps in this race today, so you can kind of go ahead and enter in who you think's going to lead laps. So for you to edit this yourself, what you're going to have to do is go ahead and go up to File, make a copy, create your own copy, which will make it editable for you. So I'll just show you how I'm going to go ahead and use it. So my early leader in this race is going to be Justin Allgaier. I think he can get it out and probably lead, let's say, 60 laps. Kyle Busch starting from 18th. He's clearly the best car in the field, 5,000 more than anyone else. I think he can make his way forward fairly early and get up front. Can probably lead, let's say, 125 laps. So that leaves us 15 laps to kind of fill in. I think Chase Briscoe, let's just give him those 15 laps. So in that scenario there, you can kind of, it changes the upside for Kyle if he wins. He's now, if he wins, leads 125 laps. He's in that 94.25 DraftKings point range. So that's another way you can use the sheet. I definitely recommend going ahead and doing this, making your own copy, and just going in and playing with some scenarios in terms of who leads. So if Kyle only leads, let's say, 50 laps, Allgaier leads 100. We can clearly see that Allgaier at his price, $7,000, about $6,400 less. If he wins the race, leads 100 laps, even if Kyle leads 50 laps, maybe finishes second, Allgaier is going to be that play there. I mean, that's not a likely scenario, but that's kind of how you can go ahead and use this sheet to your advantage. So that's new. This is going to be something that I will distribute. It's going to be added to each and every main sheet for Xfinity and Cup Series. It will be a standalone sheet as well if you want to maybe load in another site and possibly different salaries or something like that. But it will be available moving forward for Xfinity and Cup. Truck Series is still in the works, so there won't be any sheet for that tomorrow, unfortunately. I will be in the chats to help you with some possible plays, though. So with that, let's go back and look at the Alsco 300 sheet here for tonight. The race, I believe, 7:30 p.m. Eastern lock time. That gives us a little over 6 hours here. So first of all, the first thing you see, like I mentioned on the last sheet, Kyle Busch 17,000 this week. That NASCAR race, the Xfinity race in Darlington, he was around 16 or 16.5, so that price has gone up. But for good reason, he's clearly the best driver in the field. He's the only Cup driver in the field. Some of them have Cup experience, but he's the only Cup regular in the field here, so that kind of gives you that. With my first initial thought was to fade him, maybe even fade playing this slate altogether. After going through it, there is some value plays that I do like, and I think Kyle, you can get him in your lineups quite easily actually today. If you feel from 18th, the reason you maybe want to get him is because he's starting 18th. He's got easily win potential, which gives him 17 place differential upside right off the bat. And then we know that if he gets up front early, he could definitely dominate in that 100 to 150 laps led range, which would easily make him the top play in the slate, even from a points per dollar perspective. If you're going away from him, I do like Justin Allgaier. He's the first driver I'm going to drop down to. He is starting 4th. As you can see here, qualifying is over in column AV. So he's starting 4th. The qualifying for this race was a draw. Same as the first race at Charlotte where they took the drivers and owner points 1st to 12th, did a draw, 12th to 23rd, 24th, and back, and so on. So Allgaier would be my early pick for leading some laps until, Kyle possibly gets up there. I think he can be, his upside's kind of in that 50-60 lap range, which, if we go and look at the season statistics here, you can see that he is second behind Chase Briscoe in laps led. He's led 50-plus laps twice already this year. I think tonight could definitely be another chance for him to lead, finish inside that top 5. And if that happens, like I said, if he goes ahead and leads 60 laps, even if he doesn't win and Kyle wins the race and he finishes even 5th, he's going to pick up 53 points with 60 laps led. Drop him down to 40 laps led, he's still kind of in that 48 to 50 point range around that 5th place finish. So I definitely like Justin Allgaier today. Noah Gregson, he's number 2 in the model. He finished 4th here last year, which was awesome. Looking at his season stats, he's already got a win, 3 top 5s in 5 races, top 10 in 4 of those races, and an average running position of 7.6. He's up there 90 laps led as well, starting 10th. I think he can lead some laps. I don't think he's going to be second in laps led. He's probably in that 3rd or 4th driver in terms of dominator points today, but I definitely like him at 9,500. Hard to ignore Alex Labbe here, starting 37th. He gives you that elite place differential upside, and he's one that stood out over on the Matrix. I don't think he's going to get first by any means, but he could be somewhere even in that 20th place finish range. That's 41 points for him right there. Even back at a 25th, he's looking at 31 points without any laps led or fast laps, just from that place differential upside. Kind of that price has kind of got up there, but the reason it is there is because of that starting position and that place differential upside. Then moving down the list a little bit more, I like Jeremy Clements here. He's had some success here, 13th. We'll go across and look at the track history. He was 13th in his last year's race, top 20s in 3 of his last 4, and as you can see, top 25s in all but 1 race here. At Charlotte, and he is starting back in the 27th position. So I kind of see him with that top 15 upside, and with that, if we go and look at top 15, even if he gets to 15th, that is 41 points without laps led or fast laps, 31 points even for a 20th place finish with a plus 7 place differential there from 27. So I'm definitely on board with Jeremy Clements in that mid-range as well. And then, like I talked about before, Jesse Little, Michael Annett, Tommy Joe Martins are all on my list today. Probably Annett's going to be more on the GPP side just because he's starting a little bit more forward, limiting his overall upside, as we can see, or his overall safety, I guess you could say, as we talked about over here on this sheet. 54 versus Martins and Little. Like, I don't think Martins and Little have that top 10 upside. I'm probably thinking like 20th place finish kind of in there. So 38 and 36 points for a 20th place finish from that mid 7K range is pretty darn good compared to what we need out of a net kind of in that 7th, 8th place finish. to get those same amount of points. And then dropping down some drivers that I like from a value perspective today. Dylan Bassett in the 90 car I'm definitely looking at, and the reason why we start looking in the Xfinity series a lot more, instead of looking at individual drivers, sometimes we need to look at what car they're in, because they do switch on a week-to-week basis. Some of them aren't full-time drivers, so when you look at these value guys, you really got to start paying attention to that. So last week in Darlington, Alex Labbé was in the 90. He finished 17th in that car, so it did show some good speed. Didn't lead any laps or anything like that, but it's a top 20 finish from a car that is a sub 5K price tag. I'm definitely on board with. And then the race before that, we had Dylan Bassett back in that car. That was at Phoenix. He finished 18th in the number 90. And then before that was the Fontana race at Auto Club Speedway. Labbé was 13th. And then just before that, I'm not going to look at Daytona just because it is a super speedway. But at Las Vegas, Labbé again finished 18th in that number 90 car. So it looks like it's got top 20 upside for sure. Again, that is why he is starting 19th. So it kind of does limit that place differential upside. But from a sub 5K price tag, when you're trying to jam in Kyle Busch, I'm definitely on board with Dylan Bassett there. And then Jeff Green's another one. As you can see, his track history here, and I was just going to look at that real quick just to see what cars he has driven here. Yeah, I'm not getting, that's just season. So I will dig into that here in a little bit post-race. If you want to ask me questions on that, definitely hit me up with Jeff Green. But he is in the 93 car today. So looking at that 93 car and its performance, last week was Myatt Snider. He finished 35th. Probably, yeah, he was about a few laps down. He had some issues there. When we look at that 93 car back at Phoenix Raceway before the break, Jeff Green was in that car. He finished 15th, so that's really good to see. He was on the lead lap there. And then going back to Fontana, Myatt Snider drove that car to 11th place finish, lead lap obviously. And then going back to Las Vegas, Joey Gase was in the car in a 19th place finish. So that 93 car and the 90 car definitely look like they've got some speed. I think they're going to be maybe not finishing on the lead lap per se, but they're going to be finishing. I think, like I said, Bassett's definitely got some upside of 15th to 20th. You got Jeff Green starting 20th, so they both don't give you that place differential upside, but I both think they're 15th to 20th place cars in their upside for sure. Maybe even touching that 10th to 12th place, but that would be kind of high end for them. But at that price tag, getting those two drivers in sub 5K helps you for sure get to Kyle Busch or 4 other balanced plays in the 8K and 9K range. So other than those two down here, another one would be Cody Vanderwall. Don't know a whole bunch about Vanderwall. He did race, where are we here? He was 32nd in that 52 car at Darlington, so not great there. He is starting back in 35th, so I mean that would even be okay for that 5,600 price tag. He does give you that place differential if that's what you're looking for out of your value plays, but that car, he's only raced that one race, but in that car, he finished, actually he was in it in Phoenix as well, and he finished 29th. And then we want to look at, yeah, he was 32nd at Darlington, and then going back even further, J.J. Yaley was in that car, finished 25th at Auto Club Speedway, and I believe Yaley was in that car, yes he was, in Las Vegas and finished 22nd. So maybe his upside is kind of sitting in that 22nd to 25th range, more like 25th to 30th place cars, kind of where I've got him today. So 5,600 is a really nice value there for him. So there's 3 value plays I'm looking at. There's obviously more if you want that information. All of my plays, which will be updated here shortly after the video, definitely hit me up in the Slack chat for RotoPros, the Slack chat for my Patreon, or at dfsr.com in our website chat there. Thanks for watching the video. Good luck tonight, and let's get some green screens in the Xfinity Series. Be back tomorrow for the Truck Series, and then Wednesday again I will have a sheet, another video coming out for the NASCAR Cup Series 500 kilometer race on Wednesday. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a good day.